It's been a failure from day one. It's a disaster. It's going to cost us an arm and a leg, and frankly, it's not doing the job.
Obamacare and same-sex marriage, two Supreme Court decisions that have changed the country in just the last few days. Utah Senator Orrin Hatch sat down with us earlier tonight. He told us the fight over Obamacare isn't over, and Republicans will not back down to repeal it. As for the court's ruling on same-sex marriage, he wasn't surprised by the 5-4 decision, but now he's worried about what Congress will do to protect the Religious Freedom Act.
I'm the prime author of the Religious Freedom Restoration Act, which is really one of the most important acts in the history to protect religious belief. By the way, we couldn't pass that today. We would not be able to get it passed today. But it's on the books. It's a very, very important bill. And I think they'll continually attack that bill to try and reduce it. And I believe that the court will uphold that bill.
Very big business here. I would like to move on to the Supreme Court. Some major decisions coming out last week, including that of same-sex marriage. You have been, since that ruling came out, though, talking about religious liberties and your need to fight for those. So where do we go from here as far as the balance between the two?
Well, I've always been fair to people of different sexual persuasion than myself, and I want to be fair, but I don't think that should lead to doing away with religious liberty in this country. Look, I'm the one who was one of the leaders on the major religious freedom bill in the history of the Congress, and it's currently law. We couldn't pass that today, and because of the makeup of the Senate and the people who are against it. But we've got to make sure that people can believe what they want, they can worship the way they want to, and I'm going to fight that every step of the way.
What about the bill that was passed into law and signed by the governor here in the state of Utah, balancing between the two? Is that what we need to see on a national level?
Well, I think it has worked out well in Utah. The LDS Church has, has agreed to that, and frankly, I think it's cut a lot of the difficulties out. And hopefully we can get to where we can live together without feeling bad towards each other. And, these are human beings. Human beings ought to be treated like human beings. And in all honesty, I think this state is a pioneer in having good relations between the gay community and, of course, the rest of us.
Yeah, it's been interesting to see the fallout in different states in dealing with this issue and how we're not dealing with that here in the state of Utah. Thank you so much for joining us today. You're always welcome. We would like to keep up with what you're working on in Washington.
Well,
Appreciate
it. It's great to be with you.
Emily?
Thank you.
Senator Hatch has also been on the Judiciary Committee through the appointment of every current member of the U.S. Supreme Court. He spoke about some in the GOP who are talking about disregarding last Friday's decision legalizing same-sex marriage.
They've now said what the law is, and I don't think we should be out there trying to overturn that law unless it's in a truly constitutionally sound way. In other words, a constitutional amendment.
Senator Hatch says he is personally opposed to same-sex marriage, but he says the issue is settled.
On the heels of the historic ruling to legalize same-sex marriage, Utah Senator Orrin Hatch is vowing to defend religious liberty. Hatch was the author of the Religious Freedom Restoration Act in the 1990s. He says people have the right to believe and worship as they wish. He adds that that's the foundation of our country was built on. Yesterday, we told ABC4Utah that he's concerned the country is moving away from that.
The rest of the world looks to us for religious freedom, and we're gradually raising a whole generation that isn't as in tune with religious freedom as they have been in the past.
Senator Hatch admits, given the current makeup of Congress, his Religious Freedom Restoration Act probably wouldn't pass today. However, he says anyone who tries to undermine it will be in for a fight.